You got 1 minute. Sure, start her up.
Did you get?
All right, it's 4:30 on Tuesday, March 30th. Monday. There's my first mistake. Call the meeting to order. We have Mike as an excused absence and
All those online.
Paulo's there, so that's it. Everybody else is in attendance, one way or the other. Thank you very much. Land recognition, Aaron.
Yeah. We acknowledge that we operate on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe people, specifically within the Robinson-Huron Treaty Territory. We recognize the enduring presence and contributions of the Batchewana and Garden River First Nations, as well as the Métis people. We are committed to recognizing and respecting these communities, their histories, and their ongoing connection to this land.
Thank you. Any declaration of conflict with the business of the day? Hearing none. Can I have a motion for approval of agenda? Lisa, second. David? Any opposed to the motion? Agenda's approved. We have no delegations. Chair's report. The City Council. Matthew and I went to City Council. We presented our annual report. We also were presented some of our city councilors with library cards. So now we have unanimous support from City Council, and some of them were given gift certificates for the book.
Yeah, they were all given gift
So
certificates
that one?
to the library books, in addition to some of them receiving library.
It was worthwhile for our time to be there. The mayor made his opening remarks, dealt with almost crisis that's happening in the city with unemployment and some of the issues that will grow out of that. So it was nice for the library to be there because we are part of the tax base, and so as we can help with the solutions to those kind of issues, and we're free. So it's good. So that was we were well received. There's a piece in your package that I sent out from FOPL. If you don't have a copy, I can send one down and be floating around. It was a late edition. FOPL is for David is a Federation of Ontario Public Libraries, which I'm vice chair of, and I will be the chair coming up very shortly. Since I have nothing to do. And so anyway, FOPL represents most of the libraries in Ontario. And so they look after, their biggest function is advocacy. So it's a new campaign to deal with the issues that are facing libraries across the province that are more than just books, and like the homelessness, a lot of the social issues that are in the libraries that are really impacting libraries, and libraries were never meant to be the place for this issue, but they become part of the solution, I guess. So it's to work on EMPPs and make sure they're aware of our issue, not necessarily to ask for money, but to at least recognize that this is a societal issue is moved into the libraries. You followed what happened last month with Hamilton, where they tried to restrict entrance to members only, so you need a library card. Which, do you know how that ended up?
I don't know.
No, never heard.
I don't think it was
Which-
positive.
Probably
thing
not,
around that.
but it was an interesting proposal because then you bar that whole segment because they don't have a library card. And that's how bad it was. So anyway, but the government needs to play a role in that, and they're trying to say, well, libraries aren't the place to solve this issue. We need to get back upstream so that it doesn't end up on our doorstep. It doesn't impact the staffs of libraries, and we're not qualified to provide that service. So that's what's going on with FOPL, and OLA joins them in that, but Focal is more focused on doing that political piece. That's what it's like. Yeah, that's it for me. That's my report. Okay. Any questions? Yeah, man, sorry, Lisa.
Yeah, I thought this, so you there's this document here about the campaign.
Yep.
Specifically for, I guess for 2026, this particular campaign. I wonder if we're doing anything to support this at all.
Just announced it last week, I thought.
Yeah, it just came out and I was asked about RMPP, which is problematic. Because he's no longer
Whatever.
really part of any political party, backbencher, and
Yeah.
so. You know, that we don't have much to work with here. I may be doing the Queen's Park thing again.
Yeah, but even just within our community, like I just kind of browsed this, like quickly thought of things like if we're doing anything with our local media. Just to highlight these other, like, could be a good story in that and sort of. Using their key messages, but bring in how we do this locally. I think it's an interesting piece for a story, a news story, or an op-ed. And then we have social media, and then I was even thinking like within the library, like having some pamphlet that could just be. Just in the library, like using the key messages as bullet points or something.
I like it. I really like that idea for press release dealing with some of this matter.
Yeah, like usually they just publish the press release, so, but I mean, it's a cool story, I think, too.
I mean, we've been living some of what they're talking about. We just
Sure.
recently got the security. Because we were dealing with similar issues and
Yeah.
it's a. Epidemic among public libraries across the country.
And it really could be like in keeping with the, focal, campaign, whatever we are releasing this information or whatever.
I wondered if you were going to suggest that that this board write a letter of support to this campaign.
For sure, that as well, yeah, but I was just thinking locally, what could we do within our community to highlight this? And the pamphlet too, like just print it out on paper, fold it, like just somebody's getting a library card, we can give them that pamphlet to go with it too.
I mean, if Focal were to create some. Materials that could be shared among libraries, and then each library creating their own thing.
Yeah.
For messaging, I think that would be a great value.
Kind of like a templated thing, and then
And then
you tailor it, yeah,
Yeah.
custom.
Yeah,
Because that would be probably a more efficient use of resources if you.
Leave that with me. I happen to know the CEO. And I'll bring that message to her. See, she may already have something we have been doing a lot of
Okay.
work with this.
Yeah,
Okay. Anybody else? We could still do a press release, but you're right, they may have it, but. I don't know, she thought of that. Okay, number 6, then consent agenda. Anyone need anything removed from consent?
I don't have anything to remove, but the name of the finance committee has changed. 6.3.1, so it's the finance and facility planning.
Okay.
It was changed at the AGM.
Got it. Thanks, Jim. Anything else? Anyone on screen or virtual rather? Yes. Hearing none. We'll go to 7.6 summary of motion. Just. Some motion, you have it. Pick it up.
No, it's in here.
Motion is to approve the consent agenda as presented. What did I do?
Yeah. This is the motion.
Approves the consent agenda of March 30th, 2025, meeting as presented, and that's it. no mention, nothing, and presented and amended, sorry, you did amend it. All right, got it. Mover, Kevin,
Sure.
thank you. Aaron,
Yep.
second. Any opposed to the motion or further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Business arising from the minutes? Anyone? Hearing none. Move on to number 9. Information item, Bill C-15.
Yes. So there was, as it says in the report, some suggested changes to legislation around, Canada Post. And the original proposed language removed protections for materials for blind and for library rates and shipping, which was gonna negatively impact a lot of people and the services that we're able to offer, such as interlibrary loans. There are a few systems that do interlibrary loans via courier, but most, especially in Northern Ontario, are using a mailing system to ship books between libraries. And so this would have had an immediate financial impact on libraries if they wanted to continue doing interlibrary loans. And if they decided not to continue doing interlibrary loans, they would have very much reduced the pool of materials available to patrons from various library systems. So if we didn't have a book, right now we could borrow it from Sudbury or Thunder Bay or somewhere in Southern Ontario. And then they could do vice versa. We lend books out all the time. And it would have really hampered our ability to offer those services to the public. Fortunately, there was a campaign a short while ago where libraries, I believe Focal was involved as well, pushing to make sure that that language was put back into the legislation. And it was, and we're reassured that there's not going to be a change to material shipping rates for blind and for public libraries.
It's good to know sometimes we can be successful. The legislation was not intentional, it was more of an oversight. Focal took lead on bringing that message to the government as well as OLA, and they corrected the issue. So, blind people, blind patrons, for example, will not be paying that postage rate. So it was great. Congratulations.
Good news story.
Don't get a lot of those.
So like to hear those.
All right, we'll move on to 9.2, besides library comparison.
Yeah, so I've done a comparison prior. I laid it out in a different way. I had compared a previous annual survey, our library with other Northern Ontario libraries. This time, I was asked to do it with libraries of comparable size. So these are libraries that serve a population of about 75,000 to 100,000. And then I laid it out nicely this way. And what was it? Caledon, Wartha, Lease, Newmarket, Niagara Falls, and Peterborough as our comparators. There are still very distinct differences between libraries. And if you look at Wartha, they have 14 locations. We have 2. So you got to take that in mind when you're comparing libraries, that we may be comparing apples to apples, but we're comparing Golden Delicious to Granny Smith. Right?
But yet, and a lot of this is like that, and it's hard to get a good handle on. Like, so it's 14 locations and 39,000 square feet. And then the Sioux is 2 locations at a greater square footage. I don't know what to make of that. Maybe we should rent out half the building and put a branch in the eastern end and the west end. And that does, it is problematic, and I don't know what the answer is other than let's go to Kawartha and see how they can manage 14 branches.
I believe if they have a lot of rural locations that are probably the most storefronts. I haven't investigated deeply into it, but it seems like it's more like a union library where there's a lot
Okay.
of communities that they're servicing.
They amalgamated and it wasn't, well. The largest town in that area is Lindsay. So the amalgamation created some issues that I won't go into,
Yeah.
but. You know, that could have explained the square footages that you've got. A bunch of libraries and maybe Lindsay is the biggest community. And they're outside of Peterborough, so there's a bit of overlap there.
Well,
But-
Well, I have 14 locations and you're still,
I mean, the suburb
Number
would
of
be like
visits
that
is
too, the
same,
suburb
yeah,
amalgamated and
yeah.
they've got about, I don't know, 9 or
Yeah,
10
so-
locations and. You know, some of them are. You know, little towns and some of them are the original. Big municipality.
So, and it's just a word of caution when comparing libraries, is
I'm
that
gonna double.
that they're not. The same, like each library is unique in its own way. I mean, if we look at ourselves and Niagara Public, Niagara Falls, we're both sitting on the border of states, right?
Good one.
Yeah, good
So
point.
there's other kind of comparisons that we can look at as well. But anything that's kind of the top, I've highlighted, bolded, so. Niagara Falls services the highest population of the comparative libraries, so that's bolded. And you can see where we are compared to some libraries. I know we often complain about the public library operating grant and having not changed in 30 years.
Yes.
At the same time, we really benefit from the current formula because we get 9.67% of our operating budget from CLOG, whereas Caledon gets less than 1% and Niagara and Peterborough only get 2.5%.
What does that mean? Like, okay, I know what the blog is.
It's 2% of the operating budget.
That means they have a higher operating budget, which means they're getting more for the municipality. Is that a good statement?
It could mean that. The other, it does mean that, but when the CLOG was first created, it was based on population. And communities like Caledon would have seen a huge population increase, but not the CLOG increase along with it.
Oh, so.
Whereas Sault Ste. Marie hasn't grown as much.
Got it.
So that you see northern libraries of Portland and Portland.
Which one?
I'm not sure what part, again, I'm not originally from Ontario, so I sometimes difficulty with the geography,
Okay.
None of
Trying
them
to find
are in libraries.
just Sault Ste. Marie,
Yeah,
yeah,
Kawartha's down by Peterborough.
but Peter, okay.
Mhm.
These are all. So, right.
Yeah, they're all south.
So the plug is not per capita anymore?
No, it was originally set,
Yes, it was.
they used it per capita when they set it,
Yeah,
and then they haven't changed it since. And it's been that same dollar
oh, you mean
amount.
it's a dollar amount? Oh, my God.
So communities that
Based
have
on a
grown,
20-year-old population count. Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, so communities who have grown and have bigger populations are not getting more money
Yikes.
from the Ontario government.
Oh, I didn't know that. That was crazy.
So that's why some of those libraries, it's such a small part of the operating grant. And that's why they want to have it relooked at because the populations have changed so much since when it first went through.
So this is one of the issues with Hopewell that continually trying to address is to get an increase in the public library operating grant. But the problem is municipalities may look at it as an opportunity to reduce their share. That we end up with a net gain of zero. That we talked about how well we approach the government about enveloping certain funds. So that so we can actually get a real increase to certain areas. But so far they've been reluctant to do much of anything as far as touching that, so. We're very dependent on the municipality for like, what percent, 96.7%.
Pretty high.
Funding is from the municipality now. So it would be nice to see an increase before. Without getting
Somewhere else.
losing off the top. Okay,
Looking at workers, I thought it was an interesting salary percentage on of expenditures. We're pretty mid-range in there. So then there's not a huge variance in that respect. Although Calvin does have a lot of staff. Compared to Niagara Falls, they have more, but Niagara Falls is serving a population of 15,001. And then collections, I wanted to point out that we're kind of low in some of these areas. Not so much in the print titles that we have. But when we're looking at the percent of our expenditures, it's quite a low amount. So when we look at our operating budget, only 4.18% is going to library materials. As opposed to others that have up to like step up there is going on. So that's something to note, that we should probably focus on increasing our collections budgets in the future. But they should probably take a little bit more of a priority. Recently we've started making sure that we put inflationary costs in there, so you know, if we're asking for 2.8% of the collection budget also increases. Whereas in past years, the budget might have stayed the same, that 2.8% might have gone elsewhere. So we've at least done that to stabilize it so that we're not losing ground on it anymore, but I would say that we are kind of low in terms of how much we're spending on collections compared to the library system size.
but again, yeah, when you start looking at the numbers, if you look at print titles held. And then like we're at 164,000, and a lot of these other ones are in the 60,000 range. I think it's really, without digging a lot into those numbers, it's hard to get a clear picture of them. Are we spending enough?
I would say we're holding on to the titles longer, and they're having a fresher turnaround, and probably have more popular materials going through their libraries than we have.
That's what I was gonna ask, like, what issues are we experiencing with our collections, or people, is it hard to get titles and those sorts of things?
That would be my guess without doing further research into it, is that we're not keeping as current in terms of our collections, and we have old collections that are maybe not as much interest.
I suppose the number of polls would be an indicator, because my experience is if I want a current title, it never comes on the shelf.
A couple of years, yeah, you have to wait, yeah.
And you wait for.
I just wasn't sure what the experience was at other.
No, if I want a new book, I put a hold on it. I suggest that you buy it, and then I know that my name comes to the top of the hold. But the whole data would be, you know, an extra indicator in here of that aspect of the collection. Cause I do agree with Lisa, yeah.
And I don't believe that polls information is part of the annual survey, so.
Oh, probably not.
I don't think that's.
Oh, so we couldn't compare.
Not through the annual survey.
Okay, that's all right.
What are reader advisory transactions?
So that's if you come up to the desk and say, hey, I really enjoyed this book, I'd really like to find another book like that, or I feel like, hey, I'm looking for the next Dan Brown book. That's different than if somebody comes up and says, hey, I'm looking for what the legal code is for building a new deck or I'm looking for information on. Dog breeding. So that's the difference between reference questions and news questions, when it's specific to finding materials for people to read as opposed to finding just questions.
You know, that when I saw that number, I thought, I was reminded of our last survey. And how the staff, the satisfaction with staff, the numbers were so high. And I think it's partly because of the service from the reference desk, how good they are.
Don't they know about Google?
Yeah, give up on Google.
They
My
just
other-
come at us.
Takeaway from this was that active card holder number. And is that because you're doing annual membership surveys?
Yeah.
Or what do you call it?
Campaigns, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, not a survey, a campaign. Yeah,
And it has been steadily increasing over the years as well, so I
Good.
know when,
what, since COVID or?
even before then, when I started in the acting CEO position. It was about 19 to 20,000 card holders,
Oh, okay.
and it's increased by about 50%. If you look at 2025 numbers.
Excellent.
No.
I love these numbers. Thank you for listening.
It's nice to. Any other questions? Online or in person? The numbers are, where'd you see the number of card holders?
Oh, where did I see it? Over here. My active card holders, 31.
Oh, yeah, how did I miss that? I think 31%.
You'll,
That's a significant number.
you'll also note that our population looks a little high, and that's because it includes our subtracting communities. As
Oh,
well.
yeah,
What's it say?
okay.
What's that?
It says 86,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
So, and of the libraries, I believe we were the only one that have contracted.
Oh, really?
communities As well. There are other libraries that do have contracting communities, but of the comparatives, we were the only one. that had one.
Any other questions?
Just for the future, if you wanna look at more comparators. For the 2025 one, or you wanna look at Northern Libraries again, these libraries, something different.
I like this. Because it gives me comparable sides. I know that. Southern Ontario has a different reality, but at the same time, like they don't have contracting libraries. Because the next community over is gonna have its own, right?
Yeah.
So. Minor, and again, all those numbers need to be. There's other things that can play a role, but at the same time, it's nice to know where we stand. Are we doing the right things? Do we have a reasonable number of card holders, and are we spending the right amount of money on a certain area? And I think you're answering those things, so. Anybody else want to jump in? Get tired of listening to me, you can say so at any time.
So is the reason we have the high number of donations because of.
It would be part of the Friends.
Yeah,
The FM Elliott Foundation gives us a lot of money. I believe we received 30,000 that year along from that foundation. That was kind of an anomalous year, 90-some thousand. I believe we got about 45 to 48 in that range in 2025. So it's not a consistent number, but we happened that year to have received a lot of donations.
Well, nice.
so we talk about what does this board do? We've talked about fundraising. Yeah, you can see that it plays a significant role, we're able to do here, right? And are we doing enough? Or could we do more? Probably, but we're on the right track, Duke,
Mhm.
all right. You don't need a motion.
No, it was for information.
Number 10, board development. Is in your pocket.
The board recommendation.
10.1.
Right, so Jamie had been working on the past list of trustees and their terms. And she, done many hours of research going through city directories and minutes and all kinds of.
Yeah, I had to go over to City Hall to get some some of the appointments out of their minutes, so it was a lot of work.
Thank
but-
you, Jean.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Well, I enjoyed it actually. I learned a lot about, how, like, because originally it started out as school board appointments.
Yeah.
And there was only one, well, it originally started out as a Mechanics Institute, but we won't go that far back, way before my time. But, I mean, my memory of in Sudbury was school board appointments, and we only had one citizen appointment. Everybody else was a school board appointment. And we swung away from that since about the mid-90s, I think.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And I don't know whether Wayne knows any, because you would have been a school board appointment back in the day, right? You and Chris Rue and Tony Little.
No, I was not appointed, I applied to.
You weren't appointed by the school board? Oh, Chris Rue would have been. What you mean?
No,
Yeah.
he applied. I was
Oh,
not.
okay,
So, yeah,
I'm wrong.
going
That's
back
good.
even further.
They go
than that.
back further,
Yeah,
okay, before
yeah,
my time and your
Yeah,
time.
before, way before.
So it is, it's interesting, the composition of the board and where they come from and. Yeah,
So I've made that list now available on our website.
I saw it.
So if you go onto the board section of the website, it's there. And then we've also been looking at some ways to make the legacy wall a thing. Abby had been looking into a plaque, but we're gonna have to look at something else because there's too many names to put on a plaque.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Yeah.
Something.
A poster or something.
We're still investigating something.
Yeah, it would be nice, all that work and then a physical display, I think that.
Yeah, you can.
Even if it's just in the boardroom, I don't know.
About, 3 foot long
Posters. Yeah.
poster.
Yeah, we also want something that we can build off of in the future. as
Well, that's true.
Oh, you add and you reprint.
Well, and if you made if I made a mistake and you had to, God forbid, reprint it, you wanted it to be an affordable,
That's why the plaque is a nice idea, so it's a permit, and then we could add to it.
Yeah.
We could
You were
do,
thinking of doing it by decades or
I
something?
was gonna say the same thing.
Oh, no, but
No, that's
Matthew
good,
said that earlier, that was an
Yeah.
earlier idea.
okay,
So,
I don't know,
yeah, Abby and I will work on something
Okay.
and we'll bring it to the board. We'll look at it.
I have a comment on strategic priority, and
Hmm?
I would disagree, I think it's service excellence.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't believe I left that out of the strategic plan, because I would have been working on it. It's one of the few things that the board is actually allowed to do.
So if you have any suggestions, about how that can be displayed, other than, like Matthew said, it's on the, library webpage. Or, our page, if you have an idea of something, how we do this to. Make that worthwhile and visible, let Matthew know. Or Abby. Okay,
It also ties in with that we now have a bylaw, because when the Mechanics Institute started. And that group went to the city and asked them to take over the library and make it free.
Yeah.
So that parallel history tracks of what the Mechanics Institute started and where we are now. Yeah,
And then Abby brought her camera today to take some photos of the board members, because part of the. Board recognition policy is that we put pictures of the board members at each location. So, but I recognize that not everybody's here and some people may not feel photo ready. So we can make other
look at
arrangements.
me when you said that.
Oh. Did I?
thanks,
Okay,
All right.
well,
Sorry.
we can try it and then.
no, you did
see.
mention it earlier, that you.
We can is there what's it called, a veto, that if we hate the picture, we can.
If you have a stock headshot that you wanna share,
Well, I don't know.
follow Kevin, we need a picture.
Abby, do you have a plan of like having a similar background or
Oh. Okay, maybe that'll.
do you need everybody to be here? to
Yes,
take the
very well,
photos?
We can get them in whenever they come in for a meeting. We were thinking somewhere up by the stacks, so there'd be a library, a book
Oh.
background.
Yeah,
So, you can do some of these today then.
yes.
Awesome. So if you're online, you need to get in here at some point and see Abby and get your picture taken. Right? In the room, if you have a few minutes and you're ready, you can do this, right? Yeah, because this has gone on now for far too long. Be nice to get the board was up forever, because nobody ever left.
Yeah.
And then it came down and has been up since, and it's supposed to be on display at both branches, right?
Yeah, it was the same pictures for a long time, and then suddenly we had a bunch of turnovers. And we have to keep changing it, and then stay down after a while.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to get it back up.
Yeah.
And before the election. Number 11, new policies, there are none. Number 12, the strategic plan update in your packet.
Yeah, there's not much of an update, because I gave you quite a large update at the AGM. So these are just some updated, let you know kind of where our progress is. We have made some additional progress since, February in work. But we'll be actually, spending more time on, the documents and, the action items when we meet in April for board development.
Question? Okay. That's your channel. 13, this is another interesting document. Matthew?
Oh,
Like
okay.
this one.
So, those of you who attended the governance training, for library boards. You will have recognized that we didn't have a human resources dashboard. And part of your responsibility as library board members is to oversee, the governance of the human resources. So we've been really good at getting you financial information, but not so good at getting you information, HR stuff. And not getting into who does what, or who's being disciplined and who's getting performance evaluation and anything like that. It's a much higher level evaluation of our HR. And so I created this human resource dashboard for you, the board. And I will update this annually, but you may want to see something on a more regular basis. And that's a decision that you need to make. You can also look at the data and say, yeah, this is great. We like looking at this, but maybe we don't need to see this. Or you can say, hey, there's a lot of great data here, but I don't see this. This needs to be added. So this is kind of my first go at it. If you want any changes, or if there's any information you feel like is absent from it, let me know, and then we'll make the improvements for the next go. So we start off by looking at our workforce, and what's the amount of part-time, full-time staff we have, temporary contract employees, and then any vacant positions, and they've all been filled by the time I did this. Our FTEs are full-time equivalency, so a full-time position is 820 hours. And if we were to look at our part-time hours as a whole and divided by that 1820, that's partly how we get to the full-time equivalency of 31. And then our average service years is 12. So we have some people who've been here for, who's Beth been here, 40 some?
Yeah, she's on the 35. I think it's 42.
42 years. So we have somebody here that's been here 42 years. And then some people that's only been here like 1 year, right? And then our turnover rate, that's a good indicator of if people enjoy working here. If we have high rates of turnover, then there might be an area of concern for the board. But we don't have much in terms of turnover, a few resignations, and that's usually related to student positions as they go off to university or college. You'll see that even though there's a very few resignations and retirements and stuff like that, there's a bit of internal promotions, and that's in part due to temporary positions becoming permanent in the organization. So people were hired previously for like a 12-month contract, or they were on a probationary period, and then they were put on full-time permanent. We have
an external hire.
somebody who's not already part of the union, or a library employee.
Oh,
So that's the base is usually pages.
I see,
but
okay.
we can hire for other positions as well.
Hmm.
We had one unpaid intern. That would have been Sarah, and she was doing it as part of her work placement for her college. She's getting library tech degree, and so we supported the education program by having there's an intern. Next, we're looking at attendance and wellness metrics. So with the incidence of sick. So this is how many sick incidents we've had over the year from all employees. These are the paid sick leave hours total. And then we also have unpaid sick leave hours. Now, there's a reason why you'd have paid and unpaid. According to our collective agreement for the part-time staff, they get 24 hours of paid sick leave annually. And once they exceed that 24 hours, it's unpaid sick. So that's one reason. Another reason is that you may have a full-time employee who also they get 1.5 days of sick leave per month. They could, if they have a long-term illness, use up that bank of sick time, and then they have go on to unpaid sick leave. Then we have our medical appointment requests. And how many hours people have spent away from the workplace on medical appointments, WSIB claims, leave of absence requests, and those can also include a request due to educational things, like we had a student who wanted to take the summer off for summer employment before she came back to the library in the fall. It's also pregnancy and parental leaves, leave of absences as well. So total days, no long-term disability cases. We've had 3 new workplace accommodation requests, and we have currently 3 ongoing workplace accommodations. Our workplace health and safety. So this is the number of accident reports. These are staff accidents, and they're not inclusive of accidents that may have happened to other people in the library. So if a patient were to slip and fall inside the library, it would not be included in that. No critical incidents, and there's a very specific definition in the Health and Safety Act of what a critical incident is. So not to say that we haven't had serious incidents, but nothing that reaches the level of critical.
Is critical the same as LTO or no, not LTO? Lost time. Is that what the critical is?
You could get a WSIB without it being critical incident. It's usually like a head injury, severed limb, unconsciousness.
Okay, so lost time is not recorded there, or
Typically you would have lost time in a critical incident, but you can have
let's see.
an incident that's not a critical incident that you could still lose time for. So if you were to sprain your ankle, and you may have to go to the doctor, and you may be off for a few days while you're recovering.
So you have 3 accident reports. Does that mean, is it possible all 3 of those were lost time? Maybe
yeah. Yeah,
okay.
it's possible.
It's possible, so I might want to add like that. There's the bigger number or more important number for me to be LTO lost. No, why do I keep saying LTO? Lost time.
And are you looking for the number of hours?
No,
Or the number for the
no. If you had 3 accidents, then many of them were lost time.
You can add that. Harassment and violence investigations. And I mean, we had a pretty serious incident last year in which prompted the board to decide to have security full time. Our joint health and safety committee has met 4 times.
That's compliant, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Quarterly.
I think they might have had a few other minor meetings, but like they've had 4 official meetings. Yeah.
Okay.
And then 3 new patrons. I wasn't sure if the board wanted to see how many active bands there are, or how many permanently banned patrons there are, but when we were listening to the webinar, that they did suggest informing the board of patron bans, especially as they occur. And I haven't been doing that. I can do that in the future. I usually alert staff and volunteers that if somebody's no longer permitted to be in the library. I'll include the board in future communications with that.
Don't we get an email telling us?
The board, no,
The
you
board
would have
doesn't?
been,
I would have.
you would have as a volunteer.
Oh, I'm a volunteer? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you're friends of the library volunteer, so you would have been receiving them,
Oh.
but the rest of the board
Oh, I
wouldn't.
assumed that we all were. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Sorry, Jane,
Well-
what was it you were referring to?
Pardon?
What were you referring to?
I get emails telling me with photographs attached and reports of when there's an incident.
Okay.
How regular are those?
No, not super regular.
Yeah.
Like there's 3 bands last year,
Okay,
and these bands don't include day bands. They're like more substantial band.
okay,
So we might ask somebody to leave for the day,
right,
but it for them to actually have their privilege removed for any time period other than a day, they would be. We do have a number of people who are on a permanent ban list, usually related to some sort of violent or incident or harassment.
Mhm.
So we do have an ongoing list of that. And as Jamie said, I send out photos of the people as best I can from security footage. And that the reason I hadn't included the board was I was including people who are regularly at the work site. So because you guys,
they monitor.
you guys are only here for a couple hours a month, whereas the Friends of the Library volunteers, they're here weekly shifts and things like the staff, so. But I will include the board going. Training was another aspect, so. I'll let you know what our mandatory training for all staff are, so there's accessibility training. Incident reporting, witness, worker health and safety, more accessibility training, a health and safety tour of the building that you're working at, and the workplace violence and harassment prevention. A number of these are either online through like a government website, such as Access for Accessibility Training, or through our Nation Cap. So we pay for a training software, and we're actually able to create some of our own trainings through it. So the workplace violence and harassment prevention and the incident reporting are custom reports that we turn. And then we have just a snapshot of some of the training tutorials. Now training can include things like customer service. It's not just all health and safety or accessibility, things for professional development in addition to those kind of topics as well. Policy compliance and review. So looking at our policies, we are compliant with the requirements for these various legislations. And OLS has a list of policies that you have to have. For labor relations, it's good to note that we have 2 collective agreements that we have to follow, full-time and part-time, when the expiry date is for those collective agreements and whether or not we have any outstanding grievances or how many we've had. And we had none in 2020, which is it's nice because we've had a number of grievances in previous years.
That's a good sign of your work with HR and see, it was high previous year.
Relations.
To come up with, you're always gonna get the grievance, and that's not a sin, but it can point to a problem, and so. You had a lot of things to resolve with labor relations.
A lot of things have changed with the addition of security. So I appreciate the board supporting that motion because a a lot of them are related to health and safety, and things have calmed down substantially since security had been on site. And then, I'm not sure if you, you wanted to look and know all the documents we have. But, in the future, but this is a list of our various HR documents and forms. And lists, just to give you an idea of. You know, I kind of keep a lot of this stuff, from coming to the table because it's a lot of operational things. But it's good for you to know that those things are in place, that we have these procedures, in case something happens.
Yeah, there's no such thing as too much information.
Yeah.
Like, I just assumed that all libraries had collective agreements and unions, and that's not the case.
No.
And it makes a heck of a lot of difference in how things operate. There's one library where the union has just been certified in it, and it's a different dynamic, and as you well know, there's an adjustment to how that works out.
Yeah.
This is good, this is good. Don't worry about too much information. Any questions you want to ask about any of this?
Just a couple questions. So for this one, I see it's for 2025. And I think for the most part, that would be my assumption, is that the reporting period would be for the calendar year.
Yeah.
With the exception of maybe the ongoing workplace accommodations of 3.
Yes.
So I like that as like, if it's an annual report that comes, I think it's very helpful information from a governance perspective. But then that one kind of prompted me to think, like, is there something more regular or ongoing that would help us for current year as well? So I wasn't sure if there's a plan to bring it back as a regular, probably not every meeting, but every so often as a topic or update. And then the other one that I was just curious about was under training. I like seeing the list, but I also just wonder, like, is there a way that we can maybe see training rates or something? So if we have mandatory training, I think are we able to see
Like completion rates or?
yeah, that might help to understand from a governance perspective, if there's, any roadblocks or challenges in terms of scheduling the mandatory training, or how do you fit it into onboarding, but that would just be a nice piece to help understand that section a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I can definitely do that. Shouldn't be a problem. Niche Academy's pretty good in terms of reporting, like if we can pull up the completion rates from there. Some of the other ones, the government sites that we would have to go to for like work health and safety and 4 steps. I think that's an Ontario government one. We would just have to look at people's files and see, have they done it? Yes, no.
Like manually?
Probably if we wanted to go back, but going forward. We have a checklist, so when somebody is onboarded, there's a list depending on what department they're in. And then we go through and we check off and sign off on all the training and everything that they do. If you want, I can bring samples of what our training was look like.
I think even like a local data collection like that would be cool, and it would be for like, if you consider it as a proposed update for 2026, it would let you catch it up probably in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
So how much of the training in this list is mandatory? So the first list is mandatory. And the niche is optional? essentially?
So published tutorials, those are the amount of tutorials that are available to do. So if I'm a staff, I have a catalog of 127 training modules that I can do if I want to.
It says 227.
Yeah, there's 220.
Wow,
So that's how many are available to do.
okay,
The mandatory ones are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
okay.
Oh.
So if there are 18 published tutorials for the board,
A number of them are simple health and safety ones.
I'm not sure I've seen any of those, have I?
I may have added some additional ones over time. But you would have seen, a catalog of them when we made everybody do that. The AODA training.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I've marked that
And-
AODA in the
And I
code.
also, I think I recall you creating one with another board member for a board orientation.
Oh, Francis and I did that.
Yeah.
About 5 years ago.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's on there as well.
Oh, that's on there too, but so do you want to bring that to our April meeting for board development discussion, or is there something that I'm on there that I'm supposed to be doing?
No, you don't have to do them. There are trainings that are available that are not mandatory, but if you want to do some additional professional development, or if you want to learn more about the library, they're
Oh,
there for your benefit if you want to.
oh, I saw one on the archives.
Yes,
Yeah, that was interesting. Okay,
yeah, so they're there. You don't have to do them if they're there.
Jamie, it sounds like Jamie's suggestion as part of board development that for somebody, tell me if I'm wrong, they're gonna do it. We should be doing, to see some of them as part of board
I
development.
know, I don't know, I should be. I have no idea, cause I don't know what they are.
I had to go back and look. So Niche Academy creates a lot of their own. And I have to be careful what ones I post because some of them are, it's an American company.
You shared a copyright one.
Yeah,
And that was my
Yeah,
complaint
that was
coming
my-
back, that there were no Canadian examples.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
so that was one of the ones to
Okay.
Niche Academy.
That's coming back to me.
Okay, good. So
Brain is-
you guys have access to a
To stuff.
small catalog.
Okay,
Of ones that are usually related to governance, but there's health and safety and a few other things as well. And then so management, in addition to we have this 65 in addition to the 227 that are specific to their managerial roles.
okay.
This is a good document for the board. And hearing some of the comments that David was saying, it'd be nice to have a comparator, so if going forward, if you could do yearly.
Yep.
Like a column, and then maybe it's on the midpoint, a year to date. I think that's what I just said. Like this, it's a good piece of information for us. Just to see where we are.
So I can also in 2026 can give you a column of 2025 numbers compared to 2026, so you can see the progress. Yeah.
Would there be a third column of the total? Total, I don't know what. Harassment and violence investigations, the total number of patron bans and that kind of thing, like if there was 3 last year. Is there a total of 9 overall, or is that
Oh, yeah, the total's 20 some probably.
oh, is it? Oh, okay,
Yeah, and so and it also depends what you want to see, because I have a number of expired bans.
okay.
They're not necessarily reinstated, they don't have their privileges back. But
So they're not all permanent.
So
No.
3 is for this past year.
renew.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay,
So it's
so
It's
that
not-
would be an indicator of how safe this workplace is. Potentially.
so if you want to see more ban patron data, I wasn't sure how much you wanted to see.
Yeah, I would.
Then I can change that. I can list how many are expired, how many are. How many new ones in the year, like there's a lot I can do with patron ban data.
It's the will of the board, if you want to see.
I think that's
Sarah has her hand
important.
Sorry.
Like a good educator, I put my hand up.
You're the best.
I just have a question about the training and the professional development. Do you give your staff time to do them, or is this just stuff they can do?
So we do sometimes assign tutorials to the staff. I've recently just created one on like ergonomics in your workspace. And that one's gonna be soon assigned to all the staff, and they will be given time to do it. Other staff, they might have some downtime between projects. And we encourage people, if they have a little bit of downtime, to go on and do some professional development.
But in their day, you're not asking them to do it on
Nope.
Saturday or whatever.
No.
It's in their day.
However, with the part-time staff, we recognize that they don't have that kind of downtime quite often. And so, if they want to do some professional development in terms of hoping to advance their careers with the library, we do permit them to do it in their off time as well. So if they wanted to do something, learning more about collections and or servicing certain library populations, they're welcome to do that on their own time. But we don't make them do it. If we're gonna make them do it, we give them time to do it.
Okay, thanks. I was just curious.
Anybody else? The column would help too with sick time. Like, I I just did like a quick calculation. Number of hours, based on number of employees, and I get about 1.5 weeks of sick time per employee, which is pretty rough. I don't know if that might not even be that accurate.
Yeah.
Is that like, are we industry standard? Are we other, you know what I mean? There's nothing to hold that up against it.
I'm honestly not sure. It's something I have to research. But you also have to take into consideration that some people make me off for weeks at a time, depending on the injury that they have. So we had somebody that had a broken leg, and they were off for several weeks just on that, not counting other illnesses that they may have during the year.
Yeah.
And then we have some employees who almost never take a sick day.
And yeah, and that's why, without anything to compare to, I look at 1,952 hours. Am I okay with that? Where, like, you know, I don't have nothing. I know it's complex, a little bit more complex than that, but.
I mean, if there's something you want me to look deeper into and see if I can find.
I don't want to not necessarily go too much deeper. I like the numbers that are here. I just want something to look at. Is that the same as last year? Is it like if it doubled in a year, then I need an explanation.
Okay.
Okay. And one more thing, if I can, well, you didn't put volunteers on this, and city council really make note of the number of volunteers that are affiliated, working at the library. It's part of your, I don't want to say workforce, but they are part of your.
No.
What makes this place successful, and city council recognizes, they might want to add those numbers too.
Yeah, for volunteers, I mean, we do keep stats on them that we provide in our annual report. I could. I think the best way, I mean, I can do the number of volunteers and the number of hours that they commit. I can also add in, because we have a volunteer training academy as well. So we could add that in.
Okay.
And show you how many training modules are available for our volunteers.
Anyone else, before we move on? I agree, it's a really good document. It helps us have a better picture of what we are here and what's going on, and in terms of governance too, it's helpful.
So if we do that AODA training, is that an annual thing, or is it once you've done it, it's done?
Once you've done it, it's done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend if you haven't done the access forward training, that would be good for you have to do. You're only required to have one accessibility training.
Access forward accessibility training, okay.
Good.
And is that a niche academy thing?
We have it linked in the Niche Academy, so sometimes, so we keep all our training. But it'll take you to an external link. So
Oh, it will.
It'll take you to the government.
And that'll-
I don't know if it's in the board one.
Do I
can't
have
put it in
access?
front.
As a board member?
Yeah, that's available for anybody who wants to. You can just search in Google and find it.
Okay,
It's made free by the Ontario for.
oh, okay, okay.
Going once. Number 14, new business, anybody? Anyone have anything they wanna throw at the wall? Hearing none. Item 15. Regular meeting, March 30th, board development, April 27th. It is merged.
Yeah.
I put like, what?
That's today.
That's today.
I wanted to meet with you.
Good one. Stayed if I'm paying attention. All right, that was being April 57. Nothing in camera. Everything, look, life is good. There's my next agenda. I got a fun tomorrow. And have a nice meeting's adjourned. Have a good evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah, good night, Ernie.
Good night.
Oh, actually, sorry, before I go, it's not super important. I only need Abby.
Too late.
What? What time do you work to come to get a picture?
I'm here between 9 to 5, and if you let me know in advance, I'll make sure I'm not on lunch.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
You send that out to